All right, Adam, thank you. Testimony about alleged financial crimes took center stage today during day 14 of testimony during the double murder trial of Alec Murdaugh.
Today, the jury heard from the CEO of Palmetto State Bank, who talked about Murdaugh's financial status when the murders happened. Greg Adeline is joining us from Colleton County with the details of that. Greg?
Well, good evening to you, Dondi and Judy. Yeah, we heard from Jan Malinowski. He is the CEO at Palmetto State Bank, who talked about Alec Murdaugh's financial situation around the time of the murders. He said at one point Alec Murdaugh was carrying about $4 million worth of debt at that bank, and just talked about some of the treatment that he received at Palmetto State Bank during that time. He testified that as of August 9th, that Murdaugh's account was negative $347,000 with an overdraft charge of just $5, which drew some laughs from the gallery in the courtroom there. But this is what he said. He said that the bank covered that tab, that the CEO at the time, convicted banker Russell Lafitte, replenished the account with $400,000 from the bank itself with no paperwork and no loan. Now, that was an interesting part of testimony, and it was something that lead prosecutor Creighton Waters in a hearing just a few days ago called perhaps the most generous overdraft policy that's ever been seen. Those were his words. Next up, a highly anticipated witness, Mark Tinsley, the attorney for the estate of Mallory Beach, took the stand. Beach was killed in a boat crash in 2019. Paul Murdaugh driving that boat, and the Beach family enlisted Tinsley as counsel. Paul's father, Alec Murdaugh, was named as a defendant in that civil suit. Tinsley's lawsuit against Murdaugh would likely have required that Alec Murdaugh open his books to disclose his accounts in a hearing on June 10, 2021. Now, Tinsley and other witnesses have testified that Alec sought to shield his finances and hide money in that boat crash lawsuit, and prosecutors say that the pending disclosure of those accounts was a key factor, they allege, in Alec Murdaugh committing the murders of his wife and son on June 7th. Tinsley even said that as the lawsuit began to take shape, Alec Murdaugh confronted him about it. Take a listen.
He saw me, and this is the first sort of gathering. There's a little tension, I think, generally in the room about it, and then he beelines across the room and gets about this close.
And what does the defendant say to you?
Hey, Bo, what's this I've been hearing about what you've been saying? I thought we were friends.
And did you respond to that?
I did. I told him that we were friends, that if he didn't think that I was going to do everything I needed to do to help my clients, he was wrong and he needed to settle the case.
Now, back out here live, it's worth noting that there was a little dispute before Tinsley even testified between the lawyers, the defense saying that they wanted Tinsley's testimony stricken from the record because they say that he contributed $1,000 to a GoFundMe account that was set up for Shelley Smith, another witness in this case, the caretaker at Alec Murdaugh's mother's home. They say that his testimony shouldn't count because he made that donation. Now, Judge Newman intervened and said that he was going to allow the testimony and really that the defense could bring that up during cross-examination, which will happen tomorrow here at the Colleton County Courthouse. Let's get over to Nick Neville, who followed some of the developments from earlier on. Nick, some really compelling testimony from Alec Murdaugh's best friend, Chris Wilson. What did he have to say?
Yes, absolutely, Greg. So he is a key witness for prosecutors who are attempting to establish that Alec Murdaugh was essentially leading a double life, and faced with the possibility of that being exposed, he murdered his wife and son. Wilson, he said he was one of Alec Murdaugh's best friend. He's also his former law school roommate, and he says he never suspected anything. And when Alec Murdaugh eventually confessed to him about his opioid addiction and about stealing money from both clients and the law firm for years, he said it hit him like a ton of bricks. Now, in early 2021, there was a case involving the two of them. They won that case, and it was a personal injury case. Alec asked Wilson for his $792,000 share of the attorney fees fees from that case to be deposited directly into Alec's account instead of to the law firm. Wilson said that this was unusual, but didn't really raise any red flags for him. He says he never had any reason to think that Alec had any money problems. Shortly after the murders of Maggie and Paul, Alec sent Wilson $600,000, saying that he'd messed up the fee structure. He loaned Alec the remaining $192,000 and still hasn't been paid back. When he confronted Alec about the missing fees in September of 2021 and learned he'd been stealing money for years, he couldn't believe what he was hearing.
Didn't know it. Never saw it. Never suspected it. Drugs or money. Shocked, betrayed, mad. I mean, I don't know, numb.
On cross-examination of Wilson, the defense established that Alec Murdaugh did not sound panicky when he was on the phone with Wilson the night of the murders. Prosecutors say that Alec Murdaugh called Wilson that night as an attempt to build his alibi. Reporting in Walterboro, Nick Nebel, WIS News 10.
All right, Nick, thank you so much for that. And to continue watching the trial, go to WISTV.com. We stream it every day. You can download the WIS News app or watch it on YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV.